It was late, and the streets were empty. Emily stood alone at the bus stop, clutching her backpack, glancing nervously at the dark, empty road stretching out before her. The night was silent, almost suffocating, and she'd missed the last bus home. She checked her watch. Nearly midnight. Her goal was simple: get home safely. Just as she was about to leave and try to walk, a bus rolled up, headlights dim and flickering. It looked old, battered, its paint peeling, with a faint smell of burnt rubber hanging in the air. She hesitated, but saw no other way, so she stepped aboard. The bus was eerily empty except for the driver, a man with hollow eyes and an unnatural, stretched smile that didn't seem to belong on his face. He nodded once, wordlessly, as Emily took a seat at the back. She wanted to be as far away from him as possible. As the bus rumbled along, she noticed something strange. The street lights outside were fading, one by one, as though the darkness itself were swallowing them. She couldn't recognize the buildings anymore. The streets all looked warped and unfamiliar, twisting in ways that didn't make sense. She felt a chill creep up her spine. Emily finally worked up the courage to stand and ask the driver where they were going. But as she moved down the aisle, the bus shuddered to a halt, and the driver turned to face her. "We're almost there," he said in a voice that didn't sound quite human, his smile widening. "Almost home." A shiver ran through her as she noticed at his reflection in the rear view mirror. Wasn't there just an empty seat, as though he were invisible in the glass? Emily stumbled back, trying to open the door, but it was locked tight. She pounded on it, desperate to escape, but the driver only chuckled softly, his eyes dark and endless, as though they were swallowing the light. She screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the void as the bus plunged into complete darkness, the outside world disappearing. And then silence. The bus came to a stop, and the doors creaked open. Emily found herself standing back at the bus stop where she'd started, but everything was wrong. The buildings were run down, the streets cracked and empty, and a dense fog rolled across the ground. She turned to see the driver watching her, his twisted smile still etched on his face. "You're home now," he whispered. As the bus pulled away, she realized with horror that the bus stop sign was rusted and aged, and her reflection in the glass showed an older version of herself, one who had been waiting there for years, just like every other lost soul who had taken the last bus.